We all love to watch beautiful goals, but where is football without fights and collisions of players? Skirmishes in football are a common thing. However, they can occur not only between players in different forms, but also among football players of the same team, and often of the same nationality. When passions are boiling, sometimes you don't even see who you're flying at, on your own or someone else's. Most recently, during the second leg of the Champions League semi-final, a frivolous altercation took place between the City players, in which Alexander Zinchenko, angry with the actions of Radish, lost control of his emotions, and got into an altercation with a player. But the disputes were quickly stopped by the match referee, giving the Ukrainian a yellow card for the mustard plaster received. The captain of the citizens, Fernandinho, began to shout at Zinchenko, and in response received the go-ahead, after which he again began to listen to the instructions of the Brazilian. And again, the frenzied defender waved off the cap for the second time. The skirmish was not too serious, but this is not the only case. It happens more often than it may seem, and much tougher. In this video, you will see 10 more loud brawls between the players of the same team, who did not share something among themselves, and staged a show right in front of millions of viewers. In some cases, these were verbal altercations that almost reached physical assault, and in other cases, these are full-fledged fights. At the end of the match of 1 second of the Europa League final and Sevilla-Manchester United, there was a conflict between two players of the English team. After conceding a goal, Bruno Fernandes lost his nerves, and the Portuguese rushed to make claims, pointing his finger at the place where the Swede should have been, to which he received a rather aggressive reaction in his address. It didn't come to a brawl. At the same time, the players didn't communicate after the game. The fact that the World Cup in Brazil will be a failure for the Cameroon national team could have been predicted long before its opening. From the very moment when the players refused to board the plane that was supposed to take them to Brazil. And all because of disagreement with the size of the premium. The blackmail was successful, and the required money was paid. During the Cameroon-Croatia match, a verbal altercation arose between the players in the 89th minute, after which Asueko hit his teammate with his head. In response, he waved off the offender with his hand. Forward Pierre Webo had to separate his colleagues. The showdown spread to the team's locker room, where the angry Asueko decided to continue the showdown. Only the captain of the Edo team could calm Benoit down. Fans of English football should perfectly remember the conflict of Newcastle United players Kieran Dare or Boyer. The Magpies lost to Aston Villa 0-3. 3 minutes after conceding the goal, Boyer lashed out at Dare for not giving him a pass, which was enough to start a brawl worthy of the most smoky British pubs. Both players were removed, and Boyer had to be removed from the field by rival Garrett Barry. One received a 7-match suspension, and the second was injured once again in training, and disciplinary measures did not affect him. At the end of the first half, a stormy skirmish took place between the captain of the Axe and the young defender. The experienced player did not like the actions of the American during the match. Instead of a pass, Dest decided to play beautifully, and because of this, the ball went over the goal line. Therefore, when the young American defender Dest did not cope with his duties, Tadic hastened to inform him about it. There was nothing tactful about the captain's approach. Tadic's face speaks for itself, and the defender should have been silent and listened. But Dest's attempt to argue with his captain angered the Serb even more. The conflict between the Spurs players happened when they were heading to the podium. Larry caught up with Son leaving the field and began to make emotional claims to him. It was possible to avoid a fight thanks to teammates who detained the French and took the players off the field. But in the room under the podium, emotions did not fade away, and the verbal altercation was again ready to develop into a full-fledged fight. The lawyer expressed his dissatisfaction with Son about his game in defense because he was the only football player who did not return to work in defense, and again the players had to be separated by other teammates. During the break, the couple settled their differences, confirming this with a strong hug after the final whistle. At the end of the first half of the medalist match, a conflict broke out on the field between the leaders of the Kharkiv club, Jose Sosa, and Mark Devic. The Argentine, dissatisfied with the Serbian, hit him in the chest, and immediately demanded a replacement, not wanting to be on the field with the scorer anymore, but the coach ignored his intentions. It seemed that the conflict was over, but it was so, until Sosu was replaced by Miran Markovic. Since the Argentine is the captain of Kharkiv, he had to give an honorary armband to one of the vice-captains of the team. Mark Devic was the only vice-captain on the field at that time, but Sosa did not want to transfer the right to captain to him, and through third hands, the bandage reached Papagui. The battle of the outsiders of the Premier League, in which Fulham and Huddersfield met, was remembered for its ending. In the 81st minute, with the score 0-0, the hosts earned a penalty. Mitrovic is considered to be a regular penalty taker in the Londoners, but Abubakar Kamara greedily took the ball and did not want to give the Serbian the right to execute an 11-meter shot. The Serb argued with his partner, but still conceded. If Mitrovic had not calmed down in time, the players would have had to be separated by the whole team, since the Frenchman flatly refused to give the ball to the Serb. Abubakar did not score, and received tons of whistles in his address, and after the match, coach Claudio Ranieri said that he was ready to kill a mosquito for this unrealized penalty. It was the 1993 year of the derby, and Bruce Grobler looked like he was ready to eat McManus alive. The veteran goalkeeper did not hesitate to slap the rising star for a sawn-off shotgun in the game with Everton, which led to Bruce's head in the goal. After exchanging hand waves in the direction of each other's faces, the players calmed down and dispersed in the opposite direction. Apparently, McManama thought about it and remembered that his abuser knows 40 ways of killing. English Blackburn came to Moscow in the rank of a clear favourite of the meeting, being at that time the champion of the Premier League. But not only did the British fail with a score of 0-3, they also amused the audience with a clash of two of their players, David Betty and Graham Leo. What exactly, the players did not share. It is considered that Lesso approached his teammate, patting him on the knee in a friendly way. Betty, in turn, regarded this movement as excessively tender and hinted to the defender about his unconventional sexual orientation. Graham was outraged by this act, and he considered it necessary to get into a fight with the midfielder. And Cardi managed to spoil relations with everyone, with fans, with journalists, with rivals, and even with inter-partners. At the same time, the forward, who had several good opportunities to score a goal in each match, could not boast of efficiency. Another episode in the match against Juventus, where Cardi constipated the right moment, reacted to it with a smile, which infuriated Asphalt. Pablo, who was in a better position at the time of the attack, and was waiting for a transfer from Icardi, attacked Moro with claims right at the gate of the Turin team. Several partners immediately stood between the players, who tried to calm Pablo down. Moore, as if nothing had happened, calmly jogged to the center of the field, simply ignoring the anger of the Asphalt.